All right, good morning, everyone. How's everybody? Good, awesome, awesome. Well, my name is Calvin Robertson. I am the founder of Jubileague. We're a Charlotte-based mobile game design company, and I want to share with you this new product or service that we're offering called Playmaker. And Playmaker is this game-enabled, game-based learning platform where we show young students how they can take their creativity and turn it into fully playable games. And to get a better understanding of what I mean by that, I'll share this story from a recent Playmaker session where one of my students, a middle schooler, he gave me all the signs that he did not want to be in my camp. I mean, as soon as he came in the door, he distanced himself from the group, and, put his head on the table, and he starts crying. I don't want to be here. My mom made me come. He actually called his mom right before lunch and said, come pick me up. This isn't for me, right? But by the end of the program, he was one of my best campers. And I'm thinking like, well, what changed, right? Because as parents, right, any adults in the room, any parents in the room, to you, video games are a waste of time. Raise your hand. Anybody? I normally get, okay, I got like 2 or 3, right? But for them, it's not, right? These video games for them is all about recognition. It's all about accomplishment, teamwork, collaboration, skill mastery. And that's the energy that I wanted to tap into with Playmaker. Only exception is we're not playing video games in this program. Instead, I'm giving them the tools and, more importantly, the confidence to create their own games. And in doing so, they have a chance to go, you know what, I thought I couldn't do this, but I can actually do this, right? I belong here. Because that's the real problem that we're solving. Too many of our young people feel like they don't belong, like their creativity, it doesn't matter. But Playmaker changes that, and along the way, they learn skills of problem solving and collaboration, and they take pride in the work, because that's what it means to be a playmaker. So beyond just making the games, we're putting these kids on a path of accomplishment, belonging, confidence, a way for them to stand boldly in front of any one of you, just like I am here today, saying, here, I made this game for you. You want to play? Because so many other game-based learning platforms, they focus too much on the technology, and then it leaves the student to have to figure out, well, how do I actually make a game that's fun? But we take a fun-first approach, and we teach the students concepts of story, mechanics, game mechanics, and flow, the fundamentals of a fun game. And then we introduce a technology that can bring it all to life. And we can do this in a number of different ways. So the first way is a guided approach where we work with schools directly to create these interactive workshops that inspire creativity and collaboration to help them turn their creativity into a fully playable game. And this is something that can easily be embedded inside of an existing STEM program that promotes problem solving and teamwork skills. But the second approach is more of a self-guided approach where we encourage educators or even parents to create their own game jams, right, in their own homes or in their own classrooms, but using our online curriculum and student workbooks. So no matter whether it's run by us or run individually, we can meet students exactly where they are with a program that is affordable, it's hands-on, and unlike our competition, we put a premium on mentorship and a community-driven approach because we believe that this program should be accessible to as many people as possible. Now, we're uniquely positioned to tap into this growing game-based learning market with a total addressable market of about $8 billion. And that's across 25 million students, middle school, high school students in the US. Now, of that, the serviceable addressable market is about $3 billion. And that's about 10 million students across the US that already have access to like programs. So with strategic outreach and strategic partnerships, we're endeavoring to reach 5,000 students over the next 5 years to earn over $1 million in revenue. And our path to do that is pretty diverse. So we have our Playmaker game jams, and these are the immersive workshops that I mentioned. It's perfect for after-school programs, summer camps. But in the middle, we have our online curriculum and workshops. So this is ideal for the parent or the educator who wants to teach this program in a small classroom setting or maybe at home. But then for those who want to run the program independently, we offer a training program, right? If you want to run a game jam independently but still have full access to Playmaker material, we have that option available for you as well. Now, the back half of 2024, we've impacted 26 students across 2 different schools. We have 3 more schools in our pipeline, and so we're targeting to impact 200 students in 2025. Now, as we continue to onboard about 34 schools, we'll reach 5,000 students and generate over $1 million in revenue. So this vision is ambitious, but it is grounded. We have a scalable licensing model, we have low overhead, we have a diverse revenue streams, and a profit margin that's over 50%. So Playmaker is built to last. And as the founder, I have over 24 years of experience in product design, software engineering leadership at well-known companies, Best Buy and Lowe's being the latest. I also have experience building casual gaming experiences for companies like Hallmark Cards, Grantham University, the Money Museum at the Federal Reserve Bank. But now, as the founder of Jubileague, we're building our own platform of games, portfolio of games, in addition to investing into game designers of the future. So in parting, I'll leave you with just these 3 things. We are seeking funding to continue development of our online curriculum and our student workbooks. Also, if you are an educator or you know an educator that could take advantage of a program like this, I would love to connect with you and share a little bit more about the Playmaker program. Or if you are a parent and you have a child or grandchild, niece or nephew who this is a great fit for, right? Your child will be a great fit for this type of program and you want to learn more. I have an interest forum here. I'm also at Jubileague on most social media channels. So any and every one of these things will help us put this program in the hands of more students in our country. So with that, I thank you for your time this morning and let's go make more Playmakers. Thank you.
Okay. Great. Okay. Awesome. Great job. Thank you. Thank you for sharing what you're building with us. So first question, or kind of feedback / question. So you said that one of the problems is that young people feel that their creativity doesn't matter and things of that nature, right? Which I think is very good. We can relate to those types of things. One thing, are you able to quantify it? Are you able to give a little more detail on what that causes? So for example, here, let me let you answer it first, and then I'll give you some more feedback.
Well, finish your thought first. Yeah.
I don't want to feed you the answer. This is like a pitch / but we're also giving you feedback. So I'm navigating through that. I would love to have seen it quantified. I would love to have seen students who don't have high self-esteem are 5 times more likely to whatever the thing is, right? Because I think that from an emotional state, I could kind of glean what you were trying to say the problem was. And like we all know kids that have low self-esteem and probably need more confidence and, you know, they need to feel like they matter and all of those things, obviously. But I think to make your problem statement more, to make it stronger, impactful, for it to be something that we can really wrap our minds around the problem, it would be great if you could quantify it and give us more detail on, so what does it mean? So, okay, great, the kids feel like their creativity doesn't matter. And what will that do? Right? I think that'll make it impactful.
Yeah. Great point, absolutely. That information does exist. I did not include that in this particular pitch deck, but I definitely get your point. That can be information that I can add to it going forward.
Because what it does is, a lot of founders, when they pitch, they will pitch things that they're passionate about, but there's not necessarily a problem there. So they've created a really great solution for something, but there isn't like some type of like pain pill problem. It's more like a vitamin, right? Like, oh, so just show us that it's a pain pill problem.
Absolutely. I'll add a little bit more to that as well. Yes, that information is available. There are studies and research out there that proves that. I think also with the direction that I've been taking the program is more around skill development. So along with the lack of self-esteem, and then that leads to bad grades, and then that leads to students not being able to get certain jobs in the industry, I jumped to the last part of the skill mastery and the skill development, using gaming and the gaming industry as almost a gateway into any type of tech-related or creative industry or creative role, and using it, meeting them where they are with something that they resonate with, something that they can gravitate towards easily, and then flipping it and showing them, you love these games, let me show you how it's made. But to your point, adding more metrics behind it, and more numbers and data behind it, even early in that original storytelling piece, I think will make it a little bit stronger.
Yes, which I love the storytelling piece, by the way. But even if you decide to take it in the direction of the technology piece, even adding some metrics around, like, children that are exposed to technology at an earlier age have better outcomes because of whatever. Yeah.
Soundbite. Yeah.
Yep.
I know what you mean. I
Great.
got it.
Great.
Well, first, thanks for going first. It's always the hardest
Yeah.
thing to do,
Yeah.
so appreciate that. I think, so I'll kind of start at the positives. Generally speaking, everything I want to hear in a pitch is in there, right? So there's a problem, your solution, an overview of the product, the market opportunity, what the competition looks like, how you're going to go to market, the traction you've achieved, the team, and then ultimately, I'd say kind of a half of an ask. So it's like, yeah, there's funding, but I think being a little more specific on exactly what you're asking for in there. I like that it's conversation. So the number one thing I tell everyone is like, please don't give me a presentation, like have a conversation with me and use this as a backdrop. So I love that your slides aren't wordy. That's always something I get on a lot of people about. I don't want to read your slides. I just want it to be in the background while you're telling me the story. And so you did a great job of keeping it conversational and not having me focus kind of what's going on back there. I had the same first feedback as Zakia, which is help me like viscerally understand and quantify the problem. And then ultimately, I think the second part of that is then link it back to how this is a solution for that problem, right? So I'm sure there's a whole bunch of data around how many kids are engaged in gaming or what the outcomes or how many people feel this way, et cetera. Like, as an investor, I'm always looking for quantification because I can feel and understand problems sometimes, but then the first thing in my mind, because that's how I think, is like, how big is that problem? How much money can I make off of that problem, right? Off solving it. And so I think that's always a huge part of it. How much money are you looking to raise?
I'm looking to raise $250,000.
Okay. And who do you think is the target that you're looking to talk to for that?
For raising the funds?
What does the investor look like on that?
Typically, the angel investors, investors that invest in education. That's typically where I've been getting the most traction.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense because I think that when I look at sort of the story and the projections, it's going to be hard to probably get let's say, what I call a professional investor, right, at that kind of level. But I think that this is a combination of connecting with someone on a personal level as something they understand, with supporting you in a lot of ways.
And to add to that too, if it's more philanthropic, and it's maybe not one check, maybe it's not one $250,000 check. It may be multiple, right? Because the institutional routes it doesn't align. This doesn't align with those. So
I think at the angel level, there's always a combination of philanthropy and capitalism, right? That's at work. So I think, really looking at it. But I would say having an understanding of how much you're asking for and what you plan to use that money on is always a really key for us on the back end.
Are you going through all of your notes?
Well, I mean, to some degree.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So again, I think that there's maybe the last part I'd say is there's some interesting background that you have in there.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like as much as I saw, I'm like, I kind of wish I could dig a little deeper on some of that, or like tie that back into some of the out. So I think this all goes, yeah. So if I think about reworking it just a little bit, so if I were able to quantify exactly what we're talking about at the problem statement, walk me through the product and how it addresses those particular problems, then I think the last part to really hit on would be maybe tying back to how some of your experience, like in essence, that you've done this before, right? So like I've solved these kind of problems in a certain way. Like I would almost want a little bit more granular concept of how you've done this in the past, as opposed to just like, oh, I've done it at these companies. It just gives me a lot more comfort of like, oh, this is just someone doing it again, in sort of a different manner. But look, all around, like you have all the main points in there. There's probably a little bit of massaging that can be done on there, but I think you did a great job.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me just, all right. This is my first pitch breakfast. I was like, oh, wait, I should have gone through all mine. Okay, just out of curiosity, so I feel like this is a pretty huge market, and I know your SOM, you wanted $1 million. I think it was 5,000 students over 5 years or something like that. What made you select that, just out of curiosity?
The size of my company now, working in education, most of my customers will come from education, and knowing that it can be a little bit slow to get into schools, you have to build the trust. And frankly, I was being a little bit conservative with those numbers about what I could do when I created this pitch deck, what I could reasonably do and stand confident and say I can accomplish that.
Okay, yeah, I was feeling that a little bit. I felt like you were being a bit conservative. So just think through that. Sure. Like as you know, like there's of course there's, okay, this is the number I know I can reach based on my current network, but understanding that it could be a little bit of exponential growth as the years move on. So that would just be something I would consider.
Yep. All right, awesome. All right, thank you. Appreciate it.